Hello and welcome to House of Cult. My name is Alessandro. With me is Ariel Salsa, the owner of the Pretty Cult. And today we are so stoked to welcome Zach Williams, the frontman of Baltimore's own Dead Eyes. Thank you so much for joining us, Zach.
Yo, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys doing this. This is awesome.
Absolutely. How's the day been so far, man?
Good. Meeting day for me, so just mostly phone calls today, less cool playing show type things today, unfortunately.
Okay.
But phone calls are cool. Love
Yeah.
catching up with the team and cooking. We're cooking something big. It's big.
Yeah.
Hell
Isn't
yeah.
that half of being in a business and a band? I feel like half of it is like Zoom calls and
Yeah.
stuff. Because we had Zoom calls today. We have stack Zoom calls and podcasts recording tomorrow. So I'm like, yeah, half of running a business, I feel like nowadays is sitting on Zoom.
Yeah,
Yes.
just talking it out with everybody. But I feel like
Exactly.
that's the core of like doing something cool though, is a collaborative process with a bunch of people. So it's important to have that like I can see your expressions, I can hear your ideas and see how excited you are about them. And instead of just like an email where it's like, I think we should X.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
I work for a label myself, and beyond Zoom calls, I think where the real magic happens is the group chat. That's where really your cooking is in the group chat because the Zoom, yes, you're talking about plans, but then in the group chat is when you're actually actioning some of those plans and getting some of those last minute things I've noticed. So that's always been very helpful.
We have Eric with us now. Hello.
Going on? How we doing,
How's it going, Eric?
guys?
Good. Thanks for
Good, good.
joining.
Hey, thanks so much, Eric. Yeah, so we were just chatting. Zach was telling us how his day was going, and we'll just kind of roll on. And guys, I just want to sort of touch on the origins of the band. Essentially, from what I understand, there was somewhat of a cross-country move to Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken. But I really want to know sort of what the inception point was for this band and what was sort of the music that was sort of resonating with you guys and sort of the core mission statement from the beginning that sort of brought you all together.
So it was interesting because I had it's there's sort of two different points, I guess. So the band was formed without me. I was living in Wisconsin. That's where I grew up and I went to high school there and everything. I was still living there. I was in a long-term relationship. It ended. I was like, I think I might want to do the music thing again because I was always super into since I was like super young. I was into music like 5 or 6. You know what I mean? So I was out of a long-term relationship and was like, I really feel like I want to do this and give it a real shot. I could actually pinpoint the day I went to go see Self Help in Detroit, uh,
Mm.
and I saw Wage War, and I was like, you know what? I gotta try. I gotta
Yeah.
make a real attempt. So I started looking for bands. I started doing covers on the internet. I started looking for bands to join. There was like a couple options, and I think Eric and our old guitar player actually found me on YouTube through an Issues cover.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Bring me the horizon.
Bring Me the
Sorry, go
Horizon.
ahead.
Yeah. Um, and so they were a group of guys that were like looking to do it and they were smart and I felt like they had their stuff together and all the releases had gone well. Um, and so I came out and honestly Eric was the first person I met when I like landed here to like audition and just meet the guys and stuff. And as soon as I met Eric, I was like, you know what? This is the dude. I had met a couple other bands and I was like, vibes are a little off. But as soon as I got out of the car and met Eric, I was like, oh no, this is the guy. This is the band. This feels like the band. And then we did a rehearsal. We ran through all the songs. It went really well. Um, and I don't know. We all just sort of we I don't know. Eric might be able to speak on the previous idea better than me, but since I joined the band, I feel like it took a much different direction. It was doing more like scene sort of stuff before, and I think we all really felt like man, I had a rock voice, and we need to take it like more like in a rock direction and do metalcore Nickelback things, um, and yeah, so it's just been a process of like etching away at what we want it to be over time because we sort of it's kind of weird now. Like I feel like bands are formed a little later. Like you find a group of people in businesses too. Like I feel like you find the group of people like a little bit later now. Like you can network, but finding the right fit of the right people is a little harder, and people are coming to it later. So you're like adults who have like all these time. It's not like you're not 16-year-old kids who grew up playing in a garage. I feel like a
Yeah,
lot of bands now are like sort of put together through the internet and finding people with the right skill sets, and it's a different era. So you're like learning to be a unit together. And
absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's such
so
an
well
evolution.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking real quick before I go on to my next question, like, yeah, how kind of cool it is how the internet can be such a tool now. Because even as my with my brand, I just started working with some like vocalists in terms of like sending them product, and that's like such a some people kind of, I see the comments are like meh about, people doing these covers and stuff. But I think it's pretty cool and it's like a really rad way to get yourself out there. And also, so many people are connecting through, like musicians are connecting through these like cover vocalist videos, or their own videos, doing their own songs. But specifically, I'm seeing a lot of musicians connecting, finding each other through covers on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, and then doing stuff together, making, original art together. And it's just a really cool, just an interesting way that like the world has kind of turned.
yeah, you can
And it's
hardly
kind of
find the people that are doing it
Yeah.
and are
exactly.
good
And
at
I
it.
do exactly. And I feel like you made a great point too, where it's like people, a handful of bands we've spoken to on this podcast did find each other later on in life. I feel like it's almost more rare now that when we're talking to bands, they're like, oh, we met each other when we were 15 and we're doing this, which is great and cool. That's old school. We love it. But thanks to the internet, I think it's kind of cool. Also, like we live in LA, so everyone's a fucking musician here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
not everyone lives in places where you have access to things we do here. So, in one of the many ways to love the internet and social media to kind of help bands like get together and stuff. What would you say some of your foundational influences that really help shape the band's sound are?
Oh man, that's a long one. Yeah, no, I guess the bullet points are like if we had to boil it down, which this is let's be clear, this is boiling it down.
Okay.
But it's a long list, but I would say the bullet points are like Slipknot, Seven Dust, Nickelback, um, Limp Bizkit, Eric's gonna get one that I'm missing. Metallica.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, he was waiting for
He was over there
Metallica.
like,
All bets are off for the others. Pick whatever else you want.
um, yeah, I don't know. We all just have this real deep love for a sick ass guitar riff, and so that is like kind of a common thread I think between a lot of the bands that we love.
I love that you mentioned Seven Dust. I was driving to Coachella this past weekend, and for some reason I just started putting on Seven Dust on the drive there, which is like the complete opposite of what you would hear at Coachella. And
Yeah, but it's a vibe.
it's a it is, I mean, they're obviously a big band, but I don't think they get their flowers nearly enough as other bands from that new metal movement. I mean,
No.
it's
And they
world
remained
class.
like more, yeah, and uh they remained more like artistically like cool
Yeah.
throughout all of those eras than most of their peers in the new metal space, right?
Yeah.
Like different. They had like interesting shapes and edges that the other bands sort of lost through the years, I feel like.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, kind of jumping off that a little bit, with the band being based in Baltimore, I'm kind of curious because Baltimore is, I guess more so recently, but is lo for a long time been associated with more hardcore and punk, but maybe not so much metalcore and melodic hard rock. What is your take on the city's scene in that regard, and how does it sort of shape Dead Eyes? And, how do you guys sort of stand apart in that landscape right there? Because obviously in recent years, we're having everything from, Turnstile, Jive Bomb, Angel Dust, all these different hardcore bands, but you guys are obviously in a slightly different lane. So, how does that city sort of inform your sound, you would say?
I think it's like it has a grit and an edge to it. Like even things that aren't necessarily heavy, like Nightlife is also from Baltimore. That's that's like soul punk coolness stuff. You know what I mean? Like I think that all of it retains like a grit to it that like you kind of have to compete with. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of like people are going to go to a show, they're going to expect that sort of like in your face attitude sort of thing. And I think that that is something like where the band feels at home there because I feel like the live show like has that. It has that thing going on for it. And we love that aspect of our band. So it's cool that the area also has that about a lot of those bands that are from there, you know. Like it's turnstile, like they'll play a festival and they just set up their instruments and they just start playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no like walk out, the intro, no crew members putting stuff on the stage. They're just like, okay, I'm gonna set up my guitar amp. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, let's rip. You know what I mean? Like that's sick. And that I feel like is an attitude that we love about our band. We do less of that, but that we love that the city has and we love to take ownership of when it comes to our band.
I love that. It seems like the city does have that really, obviously, like you mentioned, that grip, but like that hustler mentality as well, too. That's really important within music as well. And, also a very DIY centered city for music, and a big community oriented thing, it seems like, which is really cool.
Yeah, we love playing at home. Baltimore is like a, it's a lively city for live music,
Yeah.
and they're used to seeing great acts. All the best acts come through, you know.
Yeah.
So you gotta bring it, and I love that, and I love having to keep a standard. I love something to like strive for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Couldn't agree. Let's dive into your new music. Your latest single, Take Me To, touches kind of on themes of grief and loss. What was your mindset like when you began writing this track, and kind of what inspired? Was it, a specific personal experience that happened, or, can you kind of touch on that?
So to speak on the mindset going into it, uh, Jim, he's not here, but his family had a big loss
Mm.
last year, and the band went to like a beach house to go and write and get away and like just sort of get away from all of that for Jim. And we were outside talking about everything that was going on in his life. And there's just some really powerful things that he said in that conversation. And I asked him if he would mind if I sort of, you know, make it make a song out of it. And so we actually wrote the song at the beach that day
Mm.
after Jim and I had that conversation. And it was just, and we kind of all were unsure of it. I think we were just a little too close to it. So all through the process, we were like, I don't know if this. We even changed the riff like right before we sent it for mastering. So it was like one of those songs we were all really close to and sort of. And this is a theme. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil anything for the album, but it's like there's a
Right.
theme around this record of being really close to something and sort of like people say like cute aggression, like something so cute you just want to, or you
Yes.
like you love
Yes.
I
something
have
so much
Yeah.
you just want to,
I
you
have that
know,
with my
I
cats.
have that with my
Yes.
dog. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like doing that with things you love, but like smothering them. So there's a lot of um, that with this song. It was really hard. It was difficult. It was a difficult session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when we got to the studio and it was like we were deciding what songs we were going to do for the album, uh, it played and our producer was like, well, that's really great. And we were all like, really? that really fucking sad song. Yeah, and so sometimes, it comes from not a good place.
Yeah, I
But
Absolutely.
would say some of the best art sadly comes from some of the darkest, saddest places, right?
Yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
cathartic, so
Yeah.
it ended up being good. But it
Yeah.
was it was really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully, maybe like I don't know, but like a healing situation for him as well. Just getting to be with you guys at the beach and like talking about this experience with, the band and having a beautiful, great song come out of it. Hopefully that gave him some healing as well with that process.
Yeah, and kind of jumping off that as well too, looking at another song like Good Die Young, I feel like this song is sort of the perfect balance between the band's heavier tendencies and your more anthemic side. How do you guys sort of balance those two sides to the band? And is that something that you actively try to do, or is it more so just a natural thing that progresses when you are in the writing process?
um yeah, I think we try to um I think we try to compartmentalize them, but at the end of the day, we kind of just want to write a great rock song. And so however that comes or is, like, it's fine. If that's blast beats and yelling, cool. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes that a good rock song is that. You know what I mean? If that is four chords and a really catchy chorus, sometimes a great rock song is that too. So I don't think that we like necessarily feel like we have to like serve one thing or the other over each other or anything. We really just want great rock songs, great choruses, great rock songs, big riffs.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why I wanted to touch on Good Die Young, because I feel like it's your guys' most infectious chorus, I would say, as a band. It definitely is that earworm. It's a hook that is very easy to get stuck in your head. And I'm really curious how you actually go about coming up with the hooks for these songs that do feel so tangible and so instantly memorable. It's a very impressive.
Wow, that's really way too nice of you to say. Thank you so much.
Of course.
um, but I actually, Good Die Young, it's going to be a funny and very uninteresting story. Was the last song we did on the album. I honestly felt like I was tapped, and I literally, like, it is like a 10, 15, 20 minute banger, how long it took me to write it. So it was just like, we got to get it done, put pen to paper, like just get it done. And that's just that. That's just unfiltered 20 minutes of Zach Topline in a song.
I love that. You always hear about bands in the 11th hour having that final song when the record is about to be finished. And they're like, wait, we've got one more we got to do. And an example of that I love is, the song My Friend's Over You by Newfound Glory.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
like apparently, like a day before they were supposed to finish tracking the album, he got the riff idea, the guitar player, while he was sitting on the toilet and then just went and did the song. And it was like
That's
that
so funny because
lightning
when you said the
moment.
song title, I immediately played the riff in my head. Like, that's what I didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't the vocal. It was just da 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 da
Yeah, exactly. And it's
da.
like those last minute lightning a bottle things where it's like you never know, like that last thing you record ends up being like maybe one of the more catchy moments of your record. Like that's really, really that's an awesome thing to think about, that it could
Yeah,
just
it's kind of freeing too when it's like, oh, like that people like that.
yeah.
That all I gotta do is that. That wasn't that bad. We could do that again. And then some songs, it's like you fight and claw for everything. It's everything is not working, and you got to really mess around and try to get it there. But some are just like nice and easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a testament to a good song for sure. And your music also explores, themes of personal struggle, resilience, and mental health. What sort of helps you guys stay grounded when you're navigating, the difficult moments in your lives? And how do you sort of hope that Dead Eyes can be a source of strength for others?
Yeah, these questions are really good. Making me you got the thinking cap on. can't just do what's this song about? I'm just
No, I mean,
kidding. I'm
I
kidding. I'm kidding. This
it's
is
funny.
great. No, this is great.
I love that you say that though, because I work for a label myself, and not saying certain outlets and whatnot, they will just send the very generic questions. But myself being a professional music journalist, no matter what, I will never send a question that's like, so where did the band name come from, or you know whose eyes are dead, like nothing. There will never be any of that. I can promise you.
Well, that is very appreciated. Sorry, one more time, brief
Yes.
summary of the question.
Yes. Anyways, what's the band's name? I'm just joking. Okay. So,
Okay, what's the band name again?
okay. So, I was saying, your music does explore various different themes, of personal struggle, but also resilience, but then also addressing, the vulnerability, the vulnerable sides to yourselves and mental health, what sort of helps you guys stay grounded when you're navigating those moments in life? And how do you sort of hope that your band's music can be a source of strength for others who might be going through something as well?
Yeah. I think what helps, at least for me personally, I'm speaking for me personally, what keeps me grounded is my family and a responsibility to the guys. Like we have worked really hard at this, and I'm not going to be the one to fuck it all up. So yeah, I mean, a responsibility to them, my family, and I think what the reason that I feel like it could be a source of that for somebody else, and not that I'm intending or any of us are intending on it being that, um, is that it is for us.
Hmm.
Like it really is. Like, I tell you this story about us going to the beach and what Jim's going, like it really just is that for us. So we feel like if it can be that for us, then hey, maybe it can do that for someone else too. And that would be awesome. That would be
No.
the ideal
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you guys are the record that someone pops on when they're having a bad day. They're like, I need Dead Eyes right now. Because I have those albums, my go-to, right? When I'm having a bad day or in a certain mood, I put on certain things. Nickelback is actually one of those for me. I am a I am a very proud diehard Nickelback fan.
You get
And
it.
when I'm
You
in
get
a
it.
mood, it'll just pick me up. It's just dumb and fun and rock music, and like
Yes.
it'll pick you up. And like, hopefully this album for someone who either is an existing fan or a new fan finds you guys and is like, it's another source of comfort, right? Your music could be a source of comfort for someone and it gives them a pick me up on a hard day or something like that. Because I know we all have bands and music like that, that we turn to when we're like in a good mood, in a bad mood, need to rage, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. You like attach it to a point in your life. There's like
Exactly.
there's a inflection point where you're like, ah, I need this. I need this to guide me here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I kind of back to Nickelback really quickly, if
Okay.
y'all don't
Yeah.
mind.
Let's go.
Let's
Okay, what record is it that's your feel good record? Because I'm gonna judge what it is.
Okay, well, so my karaoke song is Rockstar by Nickelback. Like that is I have been on stage belting that with strippers. I'm not kidding.
Let's go.
That was my
So
bachelorette
who's
party.
who's the real rock star here? You know?
Exactly. So I do love the All the Right Reasons
Yeah, all the
album.
right reasons is great.
Dark
I'm
Horse is fine. Silver Side Up, there's some bangers on there,
Dark
but
Horse is
my
fine is a crazy statement.
I'm okay, okay. I haven't
I'm just
preface, or
playing.
now this has turned into a Nickelback
Yeah, yeah.
podcast.
The
No, I
Nickelback
haven't
podcast.
spent enough time with it. All the Right Reasons also came out when I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school. So that was also one of those like pivotal, I was in high school moments and I was like, oh my God, I love this band. So I think that's why that's like such a special one to me. And then yeah, Rockstar is like my karaoke song and it's my favorite song to do. So
My favorite record, believe it or not, is The Long Road, only because of nostalgic
Yes.
reasons.
Yes.
I
Yes,
bought
dude, that
it.
record slaps, man.
Let's
It's
fucking
so
go.
good.
I bought it the
So
day
good.
it came out in 2003 at FYE in the mall. I was in third grade,
Wow.
and I literally can remember it because I bought that CD and I bought AFI's Sing the Sorrow and Thursdays Were All the Time, like all in the same fucking thing.
So
So it was like I
Wow,
was
that's a
fucking
legendary
hooked.
pull.
stack.
Yeah, just amazing records in the bag right there.
Yeah, Alessandro was a way cooler kid than I was. I grew up religious, so the fact that I even was like sneaking in all the right reasons when I was in like,
I mean, Nickelback, I feel like Nickelback you can bring home to mom, though. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
that one
Like,
was a little bit easier. And then
Until
low-key,
it,
Just
my
got to
mom
skip
got
over
him.
animals
yeah,
and
you did
back
until
to
it hits animals, and you're
that.
like, wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody
maybe
knows
skip
all the
that
words
one.
to that one.
Pants
Yeah.
around your feet.
do you ever kind of feel like, though, with, obviously another band similar world like Creed, obviously, is having this massive resurgence now. And, Nickelback has always remained huge, but I feel like even critically are being appreciated more now, currently. Does it ever kind of piss you off to see? I mean, obviously, it's great to see how successful both bands are today, but you kind of, you think to yourself, like, well, where were you 20 years ago when you could Google in Google, what are the worst bands in the world? And Nickelback and Creed
Nickelback would be
would
number
show
one.
up. And now it's like, oh no, like Nickelback and Creed are great. They're incredible. Like, yeah, people still kind of make it a meme, but it's where were these people 20 years ago? I mean, it was like
Yeah.
sacrilege to say you were a Nickelback fan.
Jim would be having a field day with this conversation because he feels this way about Creed.
Yeah.
Jim, like Mark Tremonti is his favorite guitar player of all
Oh
time.
yeah.
Creed was his intro to rock music. He's like, this is my favorite band, and he's like, what now it's cool?
Have you
Wasn't very
guys
cool 20 years ago.
have you guys seen the video of Scott Stapp on Celebrity Poker in like 2005?
No.
Look it
No.
up on YouTube after this. He is blacked out drunk in the video. And it's like the most wild Scott Stapp moment. And I won't even quote it on here because we'll get demonetized. But just go look it up. It's he calls out Dave Grohl for a certain thing that is not very PG related, and it is
Oh,
quite
jeez.
possibly the funniest thing you will ever see. Look
Oh,
up
man.
Scott Stapp Celebrity Poker, and
Okay, yeah, that's going on the. Hold on, let
incredible.
me note that really quick.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, you love to see but it does suck. You know what I mean? Like did you watch the Nickelback documentary, the Love to Hate thing?
No,
No.
I still need to watch that.
It's really
It's a
good,
great
but
watch.
it's really good, and you just it's just you look at what they went through because of some like internet trend. It's like they had too many number ones. It's like if
Mhm.
you win too much, people will eventually just start to hate you. Look at Tom Brady. Look at look at you know what I mean? Like if you win too much at anything, people are gonna be like, I think I might hate him.
Yeah,
And think
that's
about
fair.
all the big giant things that have avoided that are like things that went through a lull or had like some sort of moment.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like they weren't always winning. They didn't just like win because like people don't
No.
like that.
Absolutely not. I mean, God, I mean, you've obviously seen the video of them getting the rocks thrown at them in Brazil when Nickelback are on stage. And
Yeah,
even they take that so well. There's like, all right, good night. Like they just walk off stage and just take it like absolute champs. It's
but yeah,
incredible.
I thought that their attitude about it was like really grounding as a artist and creative. Like watching the documentary and seeing like their thoughts about it all was like very like, you know what? If you're gonna think of it, like that's the way to think of it. Like I feel like the best. I don't want to butcher it, but he was like, they were like asking Chad about how he felt about all of it, and he was like, "Look, man, I make good soup. I know that I make good soup. If people don't like my soup, that says more about them than it does about me." You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And the
So,
soup made him really rich too,
yeah,
which is so
yeah.
Yeah, I was
awesome.
like,
You know?
I
Haters are
have
just gonna hate.
always said that, I'm like, they are laughing all the way to the bank, my
They're
guy.
like private jet rich. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, they
That's
are.
like
Individually.
yeah, individually private jet rich. So they're doing all right. They can, yeah. And ultimately, it kept them in the conversation when the band had went through lulls or whatever. So they have a really good attitude about it. I felt like they were like it was really grounding to hear the way that they felt about it.
For sure. Well, I guess we can move on from the nickel cast now into the
Yeah,
next
yeah, yeah.
topic
Yeah.
here, which
Sorry, guys. Back to
this
Dead
is,
Eyes.
yeah, but
No,
thank you
that's
for
gonna
this.
be on my to-do
No,
list to
Well, we
this is
needed
great for
this.
the meme that we're metalcore Nickelback. We come on to every podcast and talk about Nickelback for an hour.
You're
Perfect.
basically missionaries for Nickelback at this point. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. Hit me up, dude. Hit me up, man. Let's write. Let's write a song.
So, kind of
Ah,
jumping to the next topic, despite the band forming in 2017, your last full collection was the Stability EP in 2021. With these recent singles, it obviously seems like you guys are inching towards a larger body of work. You've kind of subtly mentioned that there is an album coming. What can you sort of share about what's coming next in terms of, the first proper full-length record from Dead Eyes?
Yeah. So, I mean, I can say that we recorded 18 songs.
Wow.
wow. Okay.
And so you have heard some number of those, and
Mhm.
some additional number of those is going to come out in the neighborhood of a lot. I don't know. A lot of songs are coming out. Um, and it just depends on, nowadays where it's like, oh, you got to wait and see how this goes or that goes. And so we're not definitive on a timeline yet, but more new Dead Eye songs this year than there are from ever before.
For sure.
Right?
Can
Yeah.
you reveal who's producing it?
Yes, Kyle Odell is producing it. He's my favorite. He's the best. We love him to death. He's literally, in my opinion, one of, if not the best rock mixer on earth. And yeah, I think he's just really great. I worked for him for a couple of years doing like top line and stuff. He's just was like a real, like a mentor to me. And Jim has worked for him before too. So um, we really love Kyle. He's the best. And he's brilliant.
Hell yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. Going off obviously all the new music, how did your initial signing with In Vogue come about, and what kind of led the move, from In Vogue to Thriller Records? And what does the new label partnership kind of present or represent for the band's new chapter?
Oh. So the In Vogue thing, I feel like that was kind of uh it seemed like a long time coming because we have a lot of friends over there and we've interacted a lot over time. But I don't but and then we did like I think we had distributed a few songs through them, if I'm not
Okay.
Mhm.
mistaken, first. So I think it would have been Eric, help me out here. Is it Seasons and Same
Seasons.
Old You?
Yep, seasons and same old. Well, for sure, seasons. I actually can't remember if we did same old you or not, but definitely seasons. We distributed through them.
Yeah. So yeah, so it felt like a good fit. We're friends with everybody over there, slash had a lot of mutual friends with everybody over there. And so it just seemed like a good fit. We were looking for a partner to do a larger body of work with, you know what I mean? And they seem to check all of the boxes for us. Like, I mean, they're all so smart and really like they're just like the best team in music to me right now. Um, and so we couldn't be more excited. And I feel like for us, it really represents like, man, the power of grinding it out.
Yeah.
Like we've been doing this a long time. I mean, not just as this band, but like I said, I've been doing music in some way, shape, or form since I was like 5. I joined my first band when I was like 13 or 14 and been trying since then, you know what I mean? And for all of us have a similar story. Um, so getting to be a part of what we genuinely do feel like is the best team in music right now is like you can only imagine what, you could work a whole life to get to be a part of a team like that, and
Yeah.
it really does feel like that. It feels like a culmination of working our entire lives for something and waiting for the right moment and, being good to people and having them be good to you back.
Absolutely. That's as somebody who works for a record label myself, that's the most important thing, is
Yeah.
being a great
Yeah.
team and fostering a great environment for the artists. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a great roster too.
Yeah, and they
Hmm.
care too, like they genuinely care. Like when they get new songs, they are fired up texting you, this is the best. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Like, oh my God, it's this one. No, it's this one. You know what I mean? So we love them. We couldn't be more happy with where we're at. And we just like really feel like um, this was when we found out that Thriller was going to be a thing before it all. Um, it immediately became a goal of ours because we know Bob's history. Once Nick was in the picture, it was like, well, Nick is a history of being like the best as well. And it was just like, this is going to be a really good thing. And
Absolutely.
then the team they've built around it is just amazing. So it's literally like dream come true scenario for us. We couldn't imagine anywhere better, and I think it represents us being able to like to do more of what people already like about the band because what they like about the band is what we like about the band, which is what everybody likes about the band. So there's no mismatch of goal or
Yeah,
anything like that.
everyone's on the same page. It's very cohesive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and it seems like too, you guys have a busy year ahead touring with Beartooth. You guys recently wrapped dates with Set It Off. What were some of the highlights from the West Coast run and kind of what are you looking forward to in the next stretch of runs?
Oh man, Eric, you want to take highlights on the West Coast? Because Eric had never been to the West Coast,
Oh
so I feel like
wow.
his highlights are
Oh,
super
Yeah, it was
high.
my first time out there. Yeah, my
oh,
our
I need to
fiance
hear
was
this.
very backhanded happy for me. Like she was very happy that we got to go do the thing, but we're getting ready to go out to Colorado to get married, so
Aw.
she's a little
Oh,
jealous. I got to see some of the
congratulations.
sites first, but it was awesome. I mean, the drives were great. It helped definitely make the time go by. I mean, plenty of every show was a highlight. Honestly, biggest crowds that we got to play in front of consistently uh, for the first time. You know what I mean? The connections we got to make, some of the new fans we got to make, a lot of it was like through discovery, basically. Like no one had necessarily, a lot of people hadn't really heard of us before we had gotten there. There's probably maybe a good handful that had before, which was cool because we're on the other side of the country. And
Hmm.
yeah, it was pretty much just every day was sick. Every day in the van was not because there was just van issue after trailer issue after
Oh
van
man.
issue after trailer issue.
Uh,
But I mean, we take it in stride, like we were always just, anytime we hit a bump, we would turn around, make sure the lights were on and everything was working, and had to take it to a couple different mechanics to get it worked on. And we were pulling our hair out about that. But all the shows just honestly just took all the stress away. I think we would always kind of like joke about it in the drives. It's just, we spend all day tearing our hair out, and then 5 minutes before when we're getting ready to hit play, it's just like, all right, this is what we want to do, and we're getting to do it. So it's kind of like
absolutely.
you just take it all in stride, and that's just kind of typical tour, you know, stuff you go through. So it sucks, you gotta deal with it, but we made the best of it, and it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to start heading back out there more. I'm moving
what
to
about
Arizona as
the
soon as
what
I
about
can.
what about the rooftop that we went to San Francisco and we went like up the mountain and we all
That was
overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge? That
that
was
was great. I'm glad I didn't
super
have to
sick.
drive the van and trailer up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be
Thank Jim
fucking
for that.
Shout
great.
I'm
out
sure.
Jim. Shout out Jim for
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have been out that way, so you know what those roads are like. Not exactly great for a van and trailer going up and
Yeah,
down, but
not at all. It's not
no.
even
we had a lot
designed
of
for
time to kill.
cars. Like,
Yeah, no, we had a lot of time to kill. Didn't want to get an Uber, so we are just like, all right, let's go see. But we had no idea how skinny the roads were really gonna be. But It was
Yeah,
still great views.
they're barely big enough for like motorcycles or bikes. Like it's like that's
Yep.
insane.
I was definitely clenched a lot coming down like the mountains between like Arizona and like San Francisco and stuff. Just be I A lot of weight and a lot of speed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot
And
of
you're
But the
wind
views,
too.
the views are so cool. It just kind of takes it away from you. You're just like, I get distracted, but then I realize like, man, we are so high up right
we
now.
are flying down a mountain with all of our most expensive things right now.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take a seat in the back of the van whenever we start doing those again.
Speaking of, tour and whatnot, what does a perfect off day look like for you? Like, are there any, things that you like to do when you're on the
It's
road?
subjective. Honestly, it depends on who you're talking to. Because for me, all I need is a spot to get some iced coffee and a spot to get some food later on. And I don't care. We can go on a walk. We can go sit at a coffee shop, go sit in a hotel room, go sit in the van. I'm pretty easy.
Eric's cool as long as we're sitting.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And as long as there's iced coffee,
And
there's
there's
got to
like,
be iced coffee within walking distance somewhere.
Is it just
All right.
what's your coffee order? Is it just iced coffee or what are you doing to it?
No, no, it depends on the place. Like I do like to try different things from different places, but I like typical Dunkin' orders like the brown sugar shaken espresso orders, or I like to get a little
Ooh,
fancy with it
man
sometimes.
after
But I
my
make
own
sure that
heart.
yeah, I have a soft spot for them. I really do, and I always add like 2 extra shots of espresso to it because I just do.
you just
Ugh.
gotta.
I
I
know.
just
I
gotta,
love
yeah.
trying new coffees at new spots, and especially the like, my husband always makes fun of me. He's like, "You don't like coffee. You like," he calls them like my adult milkshakes. And I'm
That's
like,
what I said to
"Okay,
my girlfriend. That's
they
funny.
have espresso in them. Okay, I'm still
Exactly.
getting coffee. Some of them have like 2 to 3 shots, depending on the size you're getting. And yeah, I want flavor. I don't do dairy, so I have my oat milk. And then I love like, yeah, an iced hazelnut espresso shaking, blah, blah, blah. Over the weekend for work, I was in St. Louis. And so we tried this like new coffee spot, and I got it every day. It was so good. It was like a turtle latte, and it was like, I don't know, probably chocolate and caramel and 3 shots of espresso, and it always
That
iced.
sounds
I don't like
amazing.
hot coffee. It was so good. If you guys are ever in St. Louis, Scooter's Coffee. It's cheap and fast, and they have all these like different their own concoctions, kind of like a Dunkin' vibe, but like less of a stomach ache, if you know what I mean.
Less like
And
gut
like
rot type
yeah,
vibe.
less gut rot and more like actual coffee. But yeah, I totally relate to that. I need, and it doesn't matter how cold it is outside, I need an iced coffee. I'll
Oh
do
man,
iced
I
coffee
can't.
and
I
Yeah, I
can't. I
slowly
couldn't
made
30.
be
that
more
switch as well.
opposite the both of you. Give me a
Well, we'll
give me
be
a
in
red
St. Louis
eye.
on the 30th, so we're trying that Scooter's place.
Yeah, look it up. It's
And
one of those little like drive-through. They don't even take walk up. There's nowhere to go inside. So it's like a little drive-through thing, and then it's so cute. After you're like done ordering, they're like, "Okay, scoot on up."
I love
I
it.
don't know, I love it.
That's
I like
I
awesome.
love
love
it.
finding the weirder, cooler the coffee shacks or sorry, I know now this is a coffee podcast, but uh if you're ever through, you might know Zach, I think maybe in where you grew up. I can't remember if they have them there, but Minneapolis, like that kind of area of the country, they have something called Caribou coffee.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
I love a caribou coffee. I feel like Eric would really love a caribou coffee because they have all their
Eric, you
own
would love a caribou
concoctions.
coffee. That would be an Eric type of place.
Yeah, so I
I
love
already love it.
finding
I already
like,
love it.
yeah, of course, always support the ma and pa shops, but I love finding
Absolutely.
like areas of their own little chains. Like I've never seen a Scooter's Coffee before outside St. Louis, so maybe it is mom pa. I don't know. Someone in the comments section will probably be like,
Well,
"Fuck
this
you, it's a
this whole episode is
corporation."
sponsored by scooters,
Yes.
actually.
Sponsored by Scooters,
And
Nickelback.
Nickelback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caribou, all of
Caribou.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, but anyway, okay, enough about coffee. Zach, what does your day off look like since you are not doing the iced coffee?
yeah. So I'm still getting coffee, but it's gonna be black with a shot. And then
Okay.
um uh, somewhere to eat, maybe an activity that involves lounging.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe have a safety meeting or two. Um, that's that seems like an ideal day off.
A
Okay.
safety meeting? What do we mean by safety meeting?
Well, you just got to check and make sure everything's safe.
What do you?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
see.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
your
Yeah. I get it.
surroundings or with the
Yeah, you
van
gotta
and
like
stuff like
Yes.
just
that.
check and make sure
Okay.
everything's safe
I
around
thought we
you.
were like having band meeting of like no one go do anything
Yeah. Yeah.
stupid because we have a show
Oh
tonight.
my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one time, I think it was Rockford, Illinois. We played like this is many, many years ago. We played this like church basement. And
Okay.
and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get tacos. And the promoter's like, if you're walking, take these scissors because like I got stabbed 33 times here 3 years ago or whatever it was. And I was like, just the
I'm not that
scissors?
hungry.
That's all I need is
I
the
don't want
scissors.
tacos that bad. But yeah, so
Yeah,
speaking
okay,
of
that's fair.
safe
Safety.
surroundings, like
Yes.
yeah, just like
That is
Fuck.
fair. There's some states, yeah, I do a little bit of the same when we're traveling, like doing festivals and stuff. Check the van every morning, make sure tires are looking good, everything's chill and looking okay. And then yeah, where we're staying, also try and get like a vibe of the situation. Cause I've also had that one time, not the stabbing, thank God, but one
I've
time
also been stabbed.
roll up to our hotel. We're there the day before. We're going to load into a festival. It's in Dallas, Texas. Shocking. I go up to the room, make sure like me and the team, get situated. We're going to go order some food. We come back out. There is cop cars, safety tape attached to our cargo van. And I just find out that someone like 10 feet from our car was just shot.
Oh my
And I was
God.
like,
So your car is now
It's
evidence.
Bro.
evidence now. Yeah.
literally. And we had another like smaller car with us. And so, I'm the boss. So I go up to the cops and I'm like, hey, my team and I need to eat. And those are our vehicles right there. We've
Sorry
been
that guy
traveling
got
all day.
shot. Like, can we
Yeah,
check this
Talk
I
about
out?
the
just
guy who
was
got
like,
shot. Can we get out of here?
well, also that I'm like, is are our vehicles okay? Like, what is happening? And I guess it was just two people getting in an argument and decided to shoot each other, which is awful and but also sounds like Texas.
Yeah.
And the cop thankfully was like, "Yeah, we'll let you get one car." So I had to leave the cargo van and I got the regular car. And thankfully, by the time we needed to get to the festival, everything was fine. But I was like, "Dude, we've been here 15 minutes and we already have literally police tape attached to my cargo van because people
It
decided to shoot each other. Like, oh my
seems like
God,
15 minutes in Dallas.
Yeah, they
dude.
were like, this happens all the time, man. Like
Yeah.
This is
I know
like
the
this
cops
is
were,
Tuesday. Oh, didn't this
yeah, the
happen on
cops were
Monday?
chill. He was like, oh, you need a car, you need to go get food. Okay, let her through. I was just like, where the hell am I? I am not in LA anymore.
I love
Oh
that.
Lord.
Just a couple last few questions, and these are some of the more, I guess generic questions, but what are some of your guys' hobbies outside of music that you love to do besides getting iced coffee and, drinking red eyes and stuff like that? And what else
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
like
yeah.
to do?
I play Magic the Gathering.
Fuck
Play
yeah.
Magic the Gathering. So,
Fun.
love Magic. Uh, I also play a lot of video games.
What are you
Um,
playing?
man, I've been playing Divinity 2.
Oh,
I
Divinity
It's
haven't
the
heard of
2.
that
people who
one.
made Baldur's Gate, the game before it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like D&D, like turn-based sort of RPG thing. But
Yeah.
I had a playthrough that got scuffed because those games don't tell you where to go. And so
Yeah.
you can actually get lost
Absolutely.
and not be able to finish. So that happened to a playthrough of mine. And so I've just been getting back to the same place.
Right on.
Yeah, Eric, I tried to figure out where I needed to go, and I was like, I think I've spent enough hours trying to figure this out that I should just start over.
I
That's what
get
I had to
that.
do with Elden Ring. First time I
Oh,
played it.
dude, I logged what almost 1,000 hours within a summer on
Oh
Elden
my
Ring.
God.
Wow.
That game ate me up.
COVID.
It ate me up, dude. That's the best way I could put it. So great, though. So great.
I think I only made it like 5 hours into the game because I was so fucking bad at it and I was so angry that I just never touched it again. I loved it. I thought it was
Was
awesome.
that your first time playing it?
Yeah, and I
Dude, okay,
tried.
okay. Pick it up again. Because I did the exact same thing, bro. I got the game when it first came out and played it for like maybe a week, maybe. I did not have very many hours logged into it. And it was the same. I was just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. So I put it down, and then like 6 months go by. I found a couple random videos on YouTube that people made jokes out of. It were funny. I was like, oh, I should look into this more. And then I just started picking it up again. Watched 2 videos, and I started understanding my way around it a little bit more. And then I was like, all right, I know nothing else for at least that summer.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
So Eric's saying take it to Tutorial City. Maybe.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, yeah, you should. There's videos where it won't tell you which one you should do. It'll just give you like more in depth, like descriptions about like what each category character you can be, and it just kind of helps out a lot more with like what you're supposed to angle to do more, like when you first start the game off, because you could do a lot, but it kind of helps just like, all right, I should go to more this side of the map, level
Yeah,
up this over here, all that kind of stuff. But
absolutely. No,
Also,
that's a good
RuneScape.
point.
I didn't say RuneScape.
Mm.
Oh
Lots
yeah,
of RuneScape.
RuneScape. Yeah.
Yeah, RuneScape.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome.
Video,
And
lots of video gamers.
love
Well,
that.
me and
yeah,
Eric,
yeah,
play enough video games for the other two because I think Chris plays. But he plays like lots of sports games, like
yeah,
UFC and
yeah.
stuff
We'll
like
play
that.
like, you guys know Dead by Daylight?
Of course, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, I love that game.
Fuck yeah. You guys
Yeah,
playing
That's been one of my top ones for a long time.
the game's incredible. Have you guys playing any Marvel Rivals or anything like that?
I
I have
played
it
it.
installed. I've never played it.
It's great, man. It's great.
I played a couple rounds of it, and I feel like I love a shooter. I love a shoot. I
Yeah.
play a lot of Apex. I'm big on that. But it just felt like when you kill somebody, like nothing happens. I feel like it has the same feeling as like an Overwatch kill. There's no like satisfaction for me out of it. Like when you get a
Yeah,
kill, it's
that's
just like
true.
he's gone. There's no like,
That is a very
and
good point. There needs to be more pomp and circumstance when you take somebody out in that game than just
yeah,
sort of
it's
it
like
just
you're just
pops up in
shooting
your
all the
screen.
time.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, we're gonna wait to shoot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're just like, ah.
That is a really good point. Yeah. Yeah. Well, fuck
All
yeah.
right. Well, last question we have for you guys. You guys, we kind of touched on it, but we're gonna wrap. We always wrap it. What's next for Dead Eyes? Obviously, there is a new album coming out. You have some touring. Is there anything else you guys want to share or chat about?
Um, we're gonna be having a new song come out. I don't know when this comes out, but there is gonna be a new song coming out.
I be
Okay.
Um,
I believe it's coming out this episode will probably drop sometime next month.
May.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
May.
May.
oh, then it'll be out.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay, new single.
New
New
single.
single out
Yeah.
now. You heard it here at some point in the process.
Hell yeah. What's the track called?
So the song is called Thanks for Nothing, and
Cool.
it's like a sarcastic thank you note to everyone who didn't think you were good enough.
Ooh, we
yeah.
love that. Mhm.
Yeah, it's like a sassy, sarcastic thank you note.
Amazing.
All right, we look forward to hearing that.
And I heard that Chad Kroger is actually featured on this track. So
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, yeah. Chad himself has lent the pipes to this rager. Dude, could you imagine? Oh, that'd be huge someday. Someday, guys.
We're
You heard it-
manifesting
Yeah, it'll
Dead
happen.
Eyes
You heard it here
featuring
first. Dead
Chad.
Eyes X Nickelback collab. You heard it here first.
Let's fucking go. Well, guys, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us and, so stoked for the new music and yeah, just thank you again so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. Seriously.
Of
Yeah, we
Of
course.
appreciate
course.
it.
Of course, guys. Well, have a great rest of your day and yeah, man. We'll be keeping up with all things Dead Eyes and yeah, man. Just have a great rest of your guys' days.
All right, you too.
You guys
Cool.
too.
Have a good
Thank you
See you
so
one.
much.
guys.